for step 14, attaching the rear gearbox. Well, we need to grab our rear gearbox that we've already put together, and now we're going to attach it to the chassis. Now, one of the things to make note of, there are two plastic bits, this one and a little one. Now that one, if you don't notice it, is actually this one right here. But in the diagram, it's not very easily seen. So just note that you have both this to remove and that to remove. So there's not too many screws or nuts and stuff for this step, but we are going to need to put that little plastic piece, this guy right here, on before the bottom screw goes in, and then we've got to put that other screw through the top and through the flange nut. So I'll set it up and we'll do this. So first off, just so that we get it done and it's not missed, we're going to cut this off. So I'm just going to use my side cutters, which are very, very handy. And it does a pretty good job of cleaning that up. I'm just going to do a quick little cleanup cut on there. And that one I think is fine. Yeah. So that's what we're left with when those bits are cut off, because the other one was over here. But you can see that we need to now attach this to the rear gearbox. So what we're going to do is let's do the bottom first. So you can see that the screw has to go through this plastic part. Then it's going to go through this part right here. So that bottom hole, so you can see how that's going to sit with the plastic part underneath the screw. And if we put this in place, you're going to see that that needs to sit like that, with those holes matching over the ones on this side and the ones down at the bottom. So if we take this one, we know where it's got to go now. And make sure that I can get my hands down there. Grab our screwdriver. Make sure that's going in okay. And we can screw this in. Now, just because I want to make sure, I mean, I can tell it's going in, but what I want to do is let's get the other one in as well, just so that there's something else that we can sort of see and grab onto. So that is going to go all the way through the top. So you can see those two screws like that. Only this side, it's going through to the flange nut on the other side. So I'm just going to spin this on a little bit here. And I won't tighten it, but I just want to make sure that it's on, so that now I can spend a little bit more time putting this one in, because it's going to screw into the other side, which you sort of you can't see because it's actually going into the plastic on the inside of this gearbox. So we'll tighten this up. And I'll just tighten this one a little bit more. Just see how that's seated. You see, I don't know if you can see it in there. You can see the screw down there, which isn't tight yet, but doing it this way, I can actually see a bit more of what's going on down there. So we can just keep turning this. Until it gets to the end. And once it is, you're going to know, because it's not going to be able to turn anymore. So there we go. So knowing that that's done, I'm going to now tighten this one a little bit. There we go. I can feel it pulling. So that ends up being how that attaches to the top of the chassis. Now it's an interesting design because if you think of the usual bathtub design, that you would do all of that and then it would be open, so you can put in all of the mechanisms, the electronics, etc. Well, that's not how this is going to be fitted together, because it has its own separate box that's then going to go up inside of this. So this is essentially the finish of step 14. You're attaching that to the top side of the chassis. So 14 is complete. So we're going to move on to now step 15 and attach the front gearbox.